And I generally don't like to put down, and that's not productive to put down their friends, but a productive conversation maybe about the choices that their friends made, and we want better for them, and I want better for you as well. I'm hoping you keep making good decisions. This is one my father had with me quite a bit, because I had some friends late high school. I was going in a pretty good direction, but late high school, they were going in a complete opposite direction. So I had a car, I had a job, but they called me and asked me to drive them places, but never had any gas money magically. Yeah, so, but my father said, I didn't want to say anything. I wanted to say something, I didn't want to say anything. I was going to let you make some good choices, because really, once a kid gets to that age, you have to have planted some seeds about good decision-making skills. The other things for kids who are being bullied, I just wanted to add, and I see your hand over here, is they have to have some people who they trust. And it's worth it to identify those folks before the situation gets really intense, or when it has calmed down, so they're clear about who those people are in their lives that they can go to, especially in the different settings where they may or may not be bullied. Or, and I'm just even, they may be harassed or violently assaulted as well. Sometimes there's some gang activity, and gang could be anybody who's come together to commit a crime. Some kids haven't even thought it that deeply, but they're harassing other kids to get them involved. I'm gonna go over here and come back to you. Yeah. One, I have a set of resources ready to go in regards to when to make referrals and who to talk to. I would even plan some of that out in regards to the school counselor, school psychologist. I found teachers, I worked at a large high school, I found teachers would get to me who had planned out that these are some of the kids who I'm concerned about. And they had a clear sense of what to look for. So in this packet, we have some of the indicators of anxiety, depression, other things. I would say the first thing is make that connection with the parents. Because as a psychologist, something about my profession is even hard at cocktail parties. When people find out what I do, like, oh, you're psychoanalyzing. Well, think about having that phone call from the psychologist be the first phone call. But if the teacher's already said, I'm concerned about your child. Your child's great at doing these 3 things, and you're maybe also letting the kid know, I think you're doing really great at these 3 things, but I'm concerned about this particular one. And then whoever you get a chance to contact first, either the parent or the school psychologist, school counselor, administrator, having those things real clear helps the kid in the long term. If you have an ongoing situation, then you're in the mode of promoting resiliency. What can they do to solve problems? Who can they go to that they really trust? Sometimes just even helping them identify people that they trust to help them with the next level. And some of your ability is to think long-term for them. If they're in the survival mode, you can't think long-term. This is one of the things I really had to, I worked over at Cabrillo. If you're familiar with Long Beach, that was a tough school. Beautiful campus, tough issues to deal with and grapple with. So one of the things that I would really try to do is have them, and all the students who I've mentored, some of them are in college now, I got a couple over at Cal State Long Beach. If they call me with a problem, I'll talk with them about, okay, are you at option C or D? Because you needed to have a plan for option A and B. Now you're at C and D, what are you going to do next? And at first I thought, man, I'm being real tough on them, but I found a way to balance it in. I wanted them to have problem-solving skills, because sometimes they're the only person that they can rely on, and that's just a hard truth. And my upbringing was very different. I had both parents in the home. Things were fairly good. So I didn't try to put whatever my view on it was, but I tried to help them begin to problem solve from where they were at. So even if the referral system comes short, because I know resources, like you said, are tight. I keep hearing from the governor that it keep getting tighter. We got stuff over the CSU, it's getting tighter. So it's worth it to make those connections. I think another thing to do is have conversations with other teachers at your grade level about some of your kids who are the top concerns. And there's some things that you can do, such as, I don't know if you remember Safe and Civil Schools, they used to have this Most Wanting.
Right,
10 Most Wanting. I don't know if y'all have done that here in a while. Okay. But that's when, even if there's a group of teachers who say, all right, we're gonna just make positive connections with those students. And I'll give this last one where I talk with, I teach a classroom management course as well. One of the first things I do is we're going to shake the hand of every kid that comes in this classroom and make that connection with them. Because usually they're missing out on those opportunities to have somebody who's consistent in their life. Usually if they're dealing with trauma and pain because of the family issue, they're lacking consistency. So even if you're the one that's consistent, that's a lot right there. And you could think long term for them. Talk with them about, I see these great things for you. In a few years, 5 years goes fast, man. My kids are gonna be in college in 5 years. I'm freaking out about this. But if you got a 7th grader or 8th grader, that time goes quick, or they're gonna be in high school. You know, if they're a 4th grader, think about that cute little 4th grader. In 5 years, they're gonna be in high school. They've got some long-term planning to do. So helping them with that is important. And that's kind of a general answer I'm giving you. But, yes?
You mentioned about the bullying thing and having someone to go. Are you talking peer or adult or both?
I would say both. Especially someone that you trust. As a parent, I would want to make sure that whoever that peer is, that I've talked with that other parent too. Because usually sometimes that other parent is dealing with some of the same issues. Where my daughter dealt with some of this. So her friend that she really trusted, she felt like she was always in between. That was stressful for her. She wore it with a smile, but that was stressful for her. So my wife and I talked with her parents about how we were going to deal with this bullying situation. And we all had kind of similar views about it as well.
Because one thing you mentioned, and you probably might have, the daughter thing.
Yeah.
You know, most boys can go duke it out, and 5 minutes later they're good to go.
Right.
The girls I'm seeing
Yeah.
have
That's,
this passive aggressive.
yeah, that's the thing we call the relational aggression. Usually boys, they will interact with some violence. Boys, though, if they have some long-term bullying, it's usually the threat of violence. So they're usually terrorized with random violence or just random harassment where they're completely embarrassed in front of sometimes the entire school. But they don't know when and where it's going to come. Sometimes that's even more stressful than maybe the ongoing relational aggression. Because every once in a while, a girl can kind of get a break or maybe find another group of kids to work with, but it isn't exclusive just to boys or girls. You want to get that across. Sometimes it's that in-group, out-group piece that has to do with the relational aggression. So usually there's one person in the middle who will promote sanctions. If you hang out with her, I'm not playing with you anymore. Or if you follow her rules, then you can't be in the club. Sorry. She's making up her own rules, even though they already made up their own rules too. Okay, I've seen fashion clubs, undercover fashion clubs, because we're not supposed to be doing that, but we've made it. So some of it's a developmental process of kids trying to figure out who they are, but sometimes it definitely goes too far. So it's worth it to have a plan for how that progresses and how you're going to respond.